I am helping to induct. I don't have a thing to do with it. I just read what Mr. Dunlap puts together. But John has done the research. John brings these individuals to life on paper. It's my job to make it sound good, and I do the best that I possibly can. Sponsored by the American Awards, Weimer Fuel Injection and Turbo, presented tonight by Mr. Keith Theobald, the NTPA president. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make our way into the NTPA Pulling Hall of Fame. For our next Hall of Fame inductee, the rekindling of the grand old class was the spark that lit the fuse on 4 consecutive championships. But the blue flame that shone its brightest during this period on-track dominance was only the tip, fueled as it was by an ambition to advance his class, his event, his state, and his sport. The word got out in late 2004 after a decade absence from the Grand National schedule. The light superstock division would be back in the fold for 2005. Encouraged by the news, some competitors scrambled to get back in. Others bought or built anew to capitalize on the rejuvenated class, but still others who had remained loyal to the lights during this 10-year period of dormancy. The comeback announcement just meant there would be more places to run and bigger crowds to please. One such mainstay was Mark Peissig. Having started at the age of 12 pulling farm stock on blacktop with a Massey Harris 44, Peissig served as a trusted wrench on good friend Kevin Lynn's notorious Ford Light Super. The crew were 2 of the last 4 top point earners in the earlier Grand National era, and in 1988 and in 1993. Meanwhile, Mark teamed with Kevin's brother John on a Ford 7810 9,000-pound Pro Stock beginning in 1992 and won a title, Central Wisconsin Dirt Clingers Circuit. As the nationwide light class faded to black, Mark and the Lynn brothers switched colors accordingly and campaigned a Ford Charger heavy diesel named the Fat Boy. Peissig related that the name had double meaning, half of which was as dark as the International 5488's paint job. My nickname forever had been Fat Boy, Peissig told the puller in 2005. Oh, and the first atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima was Fat Boy. Starting in 1994, Peissig of the Lynn's nuclear weapon was a force in the upper Midwest, claiming runner-up finishes twice in Region 3 and thrice in Wisconsin over the next 5 seasons. Soon after, Peissig's service to the motorsport expanded from involvement in the pull held annually at the hometown Dorchester and chaired by his father to a directorship on the Wisconsin Tractor Pullers Board. Then in 1999, Fat Boy had reached the end of its half-life and its components were recycled for use on friend and chassis builder Dave Bunn's super smoker, Mr. Ed. Kevin went back to being a main driver, now on the newly constructed 504 Rocket, New Holland. And Mark returned to a supporting role on the sidelines. His contributions on the Rocket launch pad resulted in his election to 2001 NTPA Crew Chief of the Year. When Mike and Tom Wilhite from Kentucky then put their Ford Alki puller up for sale, this diesel guy at heart was more than ready to jump back in the seat. The first season, the bomb's pattern of destruction was uneven. Broke 3 front ends off, sent some connecting rods through the block. Peissig reflected after the season before putting it in perspective. Usual first-year tragedies. One consolation in this period was a frequent breakage was his selection as Wisconsin Promoter of the Year for his work with Dorchester behind the scenes, cheerleading events all across the Dairyland state. Dialed in for 2003, Peissig and the Bomb had a blast while capturing the WTPA championship and finishing second in Region 3. That is, as he completed his second year as a state association's president and partnered with his brother Gene in the operation of the family business, Bob's Dairy Service. My 3 brothers, Gene, Jeff, and Tom, all pulled at one time or another, Peissig noted. I guess I just got the bug to do it more than they did. Gene is very supportive of my pulling, but he thinks I'm nuts for putting in all those late hours. The Bomb and the 504 Rocket, now stablemates, required more moonlit mending from their technicians in 2004. But in particular, Peissig's ride debuted a new Gene Sharber engine with a round Voltmeyer head and a 3-charger setup. Bugs were worked out in the power plant over the course of that season, just in time for two major developments. One, a fund-built component chassis, and two, the 2005 reawakening of the Grand National class, which is where we came in. Peissig and the bomb hooked at 25 state and national events that season, 7 of which were Grand National. Came away with victories at Montgomery City and Hillsborough, Missouri, and rode to the division's first top shelf championship in 11 years. Grand National success is a result of being very consistent, Peissig remarked in his inaugural big league season, which also included 6 second places, which were sufficient to exceed the Wilhite brothers' Blue Blazes by just 5 points. I just don't make a lot of mistakes or get plagued with major malfunctions. Peissig and the Wilhites